good can the Raiders be without AB?
I don't think they're going to be very good, Skip. I got them winning 4 or 5, maybe 6 games max. I thought Derek Carr played really well last night, but I'm still not sold on this Carr. I thought he was protected, and considering you're talking about a front that has Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, he wasn't touched. He wasn't sacked. So most quarterbacks, all quarterbacks, you give them a clean pocket and see what they do to you. I'm not talking about, Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady. You give a quarterback a clean pocket where he's unbothered, he will pick you apart because the guys are just too good now, Skip. They grow up throwing the football. Now nobody really runs the veer or the option. Everybody's throwing the ball from Pop Warner all the way up through middle school, high school, college. And so the guys are just too good, the quarterbacks and the receivers. So the only chance that you have is to put pressure on them and force them into mistakes. And the Broncos' defensive front could not do that last night. I didn't think the Broncos played poorly. The difference was when the Raiders got into the red zone, they were 3 or 4. The Broncos was 1 for 4. Therein lies the difference of the ball game. And then the Broncos dropped the touchdown that took basically 4 points off the board. So, and I look at the Raiders, Skip, do you know their next 6 games? Kansas City at home, at Minnesota, at Indy, Chicago at home, at Green Bay, at Houston.
Yep.
How many of those games you think they're winning? So with that being said, Skip Bayless, hey, it was a big win. You always want to give your fans something to cheer about, especially the opening day, Skip. But I got them winning 4 or 5, maybe at the max. I'm talking about to capacity.
Wow.
Gas seeping out.
That's it.
6 wins.
Really?
Yep.
But you hate you some Raiders.
I do hate them.
Yeah. You were raised to hate them.
Yeah,
right?
and anytime we play up, that was the only time we had a particular week.
Yep.
We could play Kansas City, San Diego, and even Seattle when they were in our division. But it was Raider week. We hated the Raiders. We always going to hate the Raiders. And if I see a Raider, I might punch him.
Yep. Okay.
Good to know.
And you've never been much of a Jon Gruden fan, and I think whatever little love that you had way deep in your heart for Jon Gruden, he obliterated during Hard Knocks.
I liked it when he coached my brother. He was a receiver coach. My brother was in Green Bay.
That's true.
But Skip, this got to the point now he's on the sideline now, Skip.
He's got to chuck
I mean,
you.
it's when
He
you
knows
start.
the camera
Yeah.
is watching him. It feels like he's always performing.
Okay. Despite all that,
Okay.
I weirdly found myself rooting like mad for the Raiders last night because of Antonio Brown.
Exactly.
You are out on Antonio Brown, and you have been so strongly out on him that you have turned me completely off to Antonio Brown, which has turned me back on to the Raiders. And again, because of 4 Hard Knocks episodes, which I watched on the edge of my seat because of Antonio Brown mostly, and some Jon Gruden, because of that, I got to know this team a little bit better than I would have.
Okay.
So now I have some rooting interests, like that Darren Waller, the tight end.
Yeah.
He caught 7 balls for 70 yards.
It's rooting
He's had
for him.
drug issues before. He's a really bright young man, and it's like he got a second chance in life and in his career.
He was drafted by the Ravens. He
Yeah.
got injured his rookie year,
Yeah.
and then he couldn't beat. He had substance abuse problems. Finally got that turned around.
Big problems.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
how do you not?
You're right.
How do you not root for him? And Tyrell Williams, that they snatched from a division rival.
Yes.
He's 6'4". He's really good. He
Yeah.
kind of played in the shadow of Keenan Allen with the Chargers.
And Mike Williams.
Yeah, and Mike Williams. There you go. And all of a sudden, he rose and he shone last night. And I like him. You know, like I'm rooting. And then the profane chant that was echoing at the Coliseum or the mausoleum that they play in, it was just I can't say it on TV, but you know what it was. And it was an anti-AB chant, and it just echoed the whole game. You could hear it on TV.
Yeah.
It got to be music to my ears, like, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And I start watching this team, and again, I had to watch the preseason games because of Hard Knocks and got to see more of them during Hard Knocks. I think Mike Mayock, for all the controversy he was involved in, with help from Gruden, they did a pretty great job of rebuilding that roster.
Yes.
There's talent there on both sides of the ball. There's a lot of new talent. And I saw it flourish last night. And to your point, I don't know if I've ever seen Derek Carr play better than he played last night. He was in control, and I thought Gruden was out on him. I thought Gruden was hard on him. And again, I'm with you. I used to love John. I covered the last team that he had in Oakland. Knew him very well at ESPN. I like him. I like being around him. You would too if you were just around him privately. But he was playing to the camera like no coach has ever played to the camera through Hard Knocks. And he came off as this just perpetually sarcastic, profane caricature of himself. It's almost like he became Frank Caliendo playing Jon Gruden. and it got weird where he's just so conscious of the camera that he is showboating and grandstanding for the camera at every turn during Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Well, I can't root for that, but I can now root for his team. And by the way, his defense has talent on it. And that Jonathan Abram, who was kind of a breakout star during Hard Knocks, unfortunately, Garyon Conley caught, because he's kamikaze. He will hit anything that moves.
Right.
And the friendly or unfriendly fire from him knocked out Conley. So the point is that Josh Jacobs, I loved him at Alabama.
Yeah.
I did not love what he did as a Oklahoman to my Sooners in the.
Well, you should have signed him.
We should have signed him. I told you that. I've said that several times. I don't know what they were doing. How do you miss that? How does Saban go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and find him, and you can't find him 100 miles away in Norman? Really? Okay. But he runs angry. He runs. He's a slasher.
He's really explosive. You watch him catch the little pass, and you watch how he gets grown. He runs through tackles, and he's built. Skip, I didn't realize he was built like he was. I didn't know he didn't look like that at Alabama.
Yep.
He's put together at about 220, 225. He's compactly built, but he's explosive. He can run through tackles and great hands. We saw that on display again in the semifinals against Oklahoma. He has tremendous hands, and we saw it. Well, he ran over the safety in Oklahoma and kept going into the end. It kept going into the end.
I'm glad we don't have that highlight.
I
don't want to call for it because I want to spare that young man the humiliation of having to see that again. But all of a sudden, the Raiders, I know they lost one of the great pass rushers maybe in the history of this game, in Khalil Mack. Gruden let him go, just the way he let Amari go. But Benson Mayowa, who started with the Raiders, was with my Cowboys for 2 years, went back to the Raiders. He had 2 sacks last night. And Cleveland Ferrell, the rookie from Clemson, he had a sack. They got pressure on Joe Flacco, who looked like Flacco again last night.
But the Broncos' offensive line isn't very good, Skip. They leaves a lot to be desired. But I thought Flacco threw the ball well. Skip, he has a big-time arm. He still can throw the football. You see the one he threw to Emmanuel down the middle of the field. He's on the out route. Cortland Sutton is a big-time receiver.
Big time.
He's catching the ball, doing really. That's what made Demarius expendable.
And unfortunately, that Deshaun Hamilton, he hit him right in the chest in the end zone, and he dropped.
Yeah, well,
could have made it.
That's what your hands for.
Okay.
That's what he gave. That's what he gave you 2 hands for. You play football to catch the ball.
Okay.
Clearly.
Unfortunately. So back to the schedule. I'm probably going heart over head here. I could see this team winning 8 games and being a surprise team.
Wow.
And you say, well, where are those 8 games?
Yeah, where are they?
I agree. You got this sort of murderer's row. But are the Colts murderers now? I don't know. I mean that in a good way.
Sure.
Like in an invincible kind of way. Are they unbeatable at home? I don't know. I just think sometimes you have a surprise team. This team has enough talent. It could stand up and shock a couple of these teams. They're not going to beat Kansas City. They're a 9.5-point underdog at home to Kansas City.
Right.
So that's not going to happen. At Vikings, you never know what Kirk Cousins is going to do.
Cool. They ain't doing that. That zone read,
Well, they just took the ball right out of his hands now.
Yeah.
So he doesn't throw anymore.
Exactly.
They just run.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're going to minimize his ability to put us in harm's way. That's what you do.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's why the Packers are only 3-point favorites. I think the Packers should probably be like 8-point favorites in that game. This coming Sunday.
The game's at home.
It's at Packers.
Oh, yeah, they got to. Well, I don't know. I kind of want, I like Aaron, but not more than I like Kubiak, who's the coordinator. So.
Okay. All right. So anyway, could they steal a couple of these games like the Bears at home? You never know. I just think once they get through this tough stretch.
Can you imagine what Khalil Mack?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Ooh. Now, the one thing the Bears can do is play defense. Now, I don't know about the Trubisky, but the Bears will play defense.
Okay. Maybe Oakland could win a 7-6 game. I don't know. Maybe.
Khalil Mack.
And then once they get through this stretch, then it goes Detroit and the Chargers at home, the Bengals at home, then they go to the Jets. I don't know. You might start getting on a little roll that would shock you. Every year there's some team that comes out of the woodwork.
After that stretch, that first stretch you just read, they'd be 2-5 at best.
All right.
Best. That would be best
I
case
would
scenario.
take that, and then maybe they go on a roll after that. and they get to 8 wins because this team is talented. And it's going to be united because of the Antonio Brown. And football, to me, is a unity game in the end. And if this team pulls together because he left this team, and we're going to talk about this in just a few minutes, did AB play Oakland?
Yeah, Skip, I've been on some teams that were really close, Jenny, but we didn't have a whole lot of talent, and we lost a bunch of ball games. Because at the end of the day, you can be close and not talented, and you're going to lose.
What if you're close and you have young talent that suddenly comes of age right before your very eyes?
Okay.
Yeah.
Could have bond them together. I mean, Gruden kept saying, "Oh, it wasn't a distraction. It wasn't a distraction," but then he would get testy about it.
Yeah.
He was.
Which means it was a distraction.
I felt sorry for him after the game last night because he finally said, "Guys, to the media, I just can't talk about this anymore."
Yeah, his quote was, "I feel like someone's smashing my temple on the side of the head. Get over it, man. It's over. We were good preseason without him. We're going to be fine. We wish him the best." He's done. He's done.
Knock on wood if you're with him.
Yeah, exactly. But Skip, you tried to cut the legs out from the Mike Mayock because Mike wanted to suspend him. You like, nah, we take his money, but we still gonna have him to play. So you know what he represents.
The buck stops on Gruden's desk.
Exactly.
He's the one with the big contract.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.